awesome. I cried over there. My wife said I'm weak. Don't y'all follow her. She can get away with that. Y'all can't. What time y'all got? You speak to about 10 after? So at 8:35? Don't cut my neck, just stand up and say, cut my neck. Let me tell you who I am. I'm gonna be all over the place. My nose, look at that. Y'all see that? It's a mess. It's a mess. Don't worry about it though. When my time is up.
We can't hear you.
Yes, right. When my time is up, can I take this out? Like Fred Sanford, I'm finished saying. Look, y'all know what Fred said when he had a new mic, when it was live. Anyway, my name is Reginald Watts, born and raised in Louisiana. Amen. Where my Louisiana people at? That's my people right there. They said, we praying for you, we praying for you. I didn't know how to take that, like, I need prayer. You see something? Oh, you mean you want to make sure that I say the right thing? I served 31 and a half years in prison for a crime that I did do. All the crimes, I did all of them. And a couple of more that if they found out, I probably would go back. So the watchword is, shh. Don't do it. Let me tell you how I know God has a sense of humor. He made a giraffe and a hippopotamus. He took a former convict 2 hours out of jail and asked him to go be a chaplain in jail. Yeah, that's a wild moment. But that's not the clincher. I married a police officer. Stand up there. You know what? All that time I ran from police, it's a waste of time. I ran right into one. And you know what? God said you have what you asked. You asked in my name. I saw her. I liked what I saw. I told God I wanted her. And then I told her, I said, you ain't got no other choice. Well, the other part was the truth. The last part wasn't. I didn't say that, but I did get on my knee and I asked her to marry me. I will have 2 years of marriage October 1st. This year. I've been out of prison 4 years. I'm still honeymooning. I don't know what I've never been married in my life. I'm 59, I was 57, I got married. I don't know if there's a cutoff time, like you say, like, okay, after 2 years you're no longer honeymoon. You can't honeymoon no more, 6 months. I don't know. And if somebody tell me 2 years, shame on you. Don't tell it to me, you tell it to somebody else, because I'm gonna be honeymooning until I die. I'm enjoying marriage. I don't know why I waited till I was 57, because my mom and dad was married forever. And so I saw great stuff in marriage. Let me tell you this, I come from good stock. My mom and dad was raised in Mississippi, north and south. They met in New Orleans in the 50s. They had me and my siblings. I was raised well. Get that first. I was raised well. I got away from raise a child in ways when they won't depart from it. What that means is they'll come back to it. And so that's what happened in my life. I came back to it. And now I'm living a life. I'm living a leave it to beaver life. You know, I'm in hog heaven, as they say down in Louisiana. I mean gumbo every day, baby. Hey, man, I served a total of 31 and a half. The last 25 was in Angola. I received a life sentence on Habitual Offender Act. I had no probation, no parole, no suspension of sentence. The judge told me I would die in prison. But I, say it again? Yes, it did. I appealed my case to the higher court. Yeah. And I started telling 18,008, can't hold me. You can't hold that which is in me. Great is he that's in me than he is. And I started walking around Angola on the big yard telling 18,008, hold me. You can't hold me. I'm not going to die in prison. Now, I remind you, I was barred from court. I didn't have any resolution, restitution, or any other tuition. But I started telling myself what I didn't even believe. But it was in the Bible, so I knew it to be the truth, but I didn't know it to be the truth for me. I want to thank Miss Evelyn. And the reason why I want to thank her, I have to give her my glasses. I have left them in different states. If you see glasses on like a sign saying, do you know the person that left these glasses? Just give them and bring them to me. And I promise you, they're mine. I served 25 years, which is equivalent to 300 months, 1,300 weeks, 9,000 days, 13 million minutes, 800,000 seconds, but who's counting? Has nothing, it doesn't even compare anything. 25 and 31 together don't even compare, don't even come close. Because you know, all that I served was only one day with him. It was only one day. Didn't feel like one day to me, but it was one day to him. And once I got saved, I want to tell y'all this, the grass is green on this side. It don't just look greener, it's greener over there. I became the senior pastor in one of the largest churches in Angola, in their grand churches. I had one of my guys asked me to go to Kairos. And I told him, I said, I'm a senior pastor. What am I going to do with Kairos? I said, no, give it to, let somebody else do it. He said, Pastor, he said, man, listen. He said, I can't explain what Kairos is to you. He said, man, you've been good to us. Go to Kairos. I said, all right. Now mind you, reluctantly, I went to Kairos. So it's kind of like saying, well, you know, I had been sending guys to Kairos. As a pastor, I would pick half the crew that would go. I had the opportunity to pick. Times they wasn't even church people. And I would pick them out of the dormitory or on the football team where I played. And then I went to Kairos. How wrong I was. There's a guy named, I don't want to call his name because they're going to know this to different people. But he was one of the toughest guys in Angola. He went, and I looked at the team, I saw him over there, and I'm Kairos number 1. Luke table. Don't worry about the number. But that Luke table. And they chose me to be the speaker. And I looked across, and I saw that person. I was like, what is he doing in here? I said, what is Kairos? What is this? And it got down to the letter reading. And the little girl wrote me a letter that said, God's flowers. She drew it. You really had to know what she's saying because it didn't look like anything that she said. Her name was Brianna or Brittany. It said God's flowers, God's rainbow, and God's bunny rabbit. The rabbit looked like, I don't know, a dinosaur. Anyway, literally, the rainbow and the flower was like a tree. It was touching the rainbow. But anyway, I welled up inside. But I looked across, I kept my eye on that guy. Because he was dangerous, he really was. Not that I had a problem with him, but I know for him to be in there, He either was in there looking for somebody. He wasn't in there to receive. And so I saw him cry. And that gave me the freedom to cry. And so me and my bunny rabbit and Flower, and we cried. And I looked over at him, and he I'm talking about he was sobbing. He wasn't just crying, he was broken. And I said, I finally figured out what Kairos was. That I did as a senior pastor. I had been pastoring a number of years. It was the love and cookies, but it was the love. And I'll come back to the love about them cookies. It's very important. Y'all, listen, we laugh about that, and it's great to laugh, but that's a major part of Kairos. Because remember now, most people think Kairos, they think church, they think ecclesia. They think everybody in there is saved. Yeah. No. At least when I was involved, I'm the only saved person in it. You know, I was questionable too at that time. It was a rough trail. and the more we ate, the more we came. And I remember scriptures about multiplication, God's multiplication, and all of that. I was saying, God, you are producing some cookies up there. And then the chocolate chips. You know, you go to a store and buy chocolate chips, you get maybe 2, maybe 3 chocolate chips in the cookie. Now, Kairos, multiple chips. And so the more we ate, and the fruits was coming out, and I just seen guys break down. And I said, from that moment forward, I said, the guys that I'm sending to Kairos, they're going to be discipled when they come out of Kairos. I'm going to spend time, because they're going to be broken. So Kairos made the pastor's job easier. I'm always looking for easy. You got pastors want to talk, they talk about, well, I go into the toughest places in the world. Well, I was living in the toughest places in the world. I'm looking for easy. And I remember calling home, and I was talking to my sister, and I told her what had took place. And my sister said, finally. I didn't know what finally, what you mean finally? I've been saying it a decade. She said, you got it. She said, little brother, you got it. She says, the love that separates, it's the love of Jesus that separates us from any other entity. You name it, I guarantee you, it's the love that's going to make the difference. And a couple of people asked me what my denomination was. Well, I'm Philip 66. I fill up with 66 books of the Bible. When my wife and I do devotion, my wife is apostolic. I like to be in the doghouse right there. I just sliding over you. Somebody say something. Help. If I ever get like that again, would you please speak up? I need help. I'm a newlywed. I'm building my own doghouse. And but you know, she does not, she's a good second to her husband. I have a good wife. She's a prayer warrior. And that helps me to be able to do more for other people. I work in a tough prison. Remember Corey that spoke? Corey, you in here? Corey's not here? Let me tell you what I did for Corey this morning. I got off the elevator, saw Corey, ran up to him, hugged him, and gave my wife the camera, took the picture, and asked the man a thing. I just hugged him and took the picture. I almost kissed him on the job. Whoa, that man been in jail too. That ain't gonna look good like it's always. I can see the Kairos people like, what they doing? What they good? Man, I love y'all. Y'all, you know, Kairos people are different. Did y'all know that? Y'all, you better say, yeah, sure, I'm talking about it. We different. Yeah, we different. We understand. We understand love. We understand the mechanism, the wheels. We understand the cogs and the sprockets. We understand that we need each other. The church needs, I don't want to get religious or spiritual, but Jesus told us this. He told us this. He showed us this. He said that, you know, he broke it down into body parts. We can't say one can't say I'm more important than the other. Because I'm the CEO, but you do groundwork too. Great example, right? I don't want anybody to leave me that won't scratch where I scratch. Don't tell me to dig a hole and you won't put your rubber boots on. Don't call me, call somebody else. You say, but you're a pastor. Yeah, I'm one of them pastors too. Y'all know one of them pastors, they don't look. Some of y'all got pastors be cutting up. I already know. I'm trying to remember every face in here. I'm sick of your face. You got the back. Talking about roll tide. Excuse me for deviating right here, but so all of y'all, all holler for Alabama. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm about to revert. I'm about to go back to some of my old ways. You're in trouble. Go who? UT? Okay. This stuff goes on, isn't it? Anyway, let me see this. I have a bone to pick with Kairos though. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm one of them type of preachers. I told you that. We got to do something with that word, breakout room. Listen. The last time I thought about breaking out, I said breakout room. That's interesting. Why don't we call it the other room? I wrote some notes down on some rooms we can call it. I don't even like break room, like at work. They say, where you going? Over there with a snack machine. I said, anyway. Listen. Quit saying this. I found Jesus. Jesus ain't never been lost. Ain't never one of y'all found Jesus. You ain't found no Jesus. What you did was, or what we did, every last one of us, we slowed down long enough to hear him. He's been talking. He's been speaking. And the work he does, he don't do what he sees his Father do. So he's not doing something new. Because there's nothing under the sun he's been doing. He did it for Adam and Eve. Yes, he did. He shed blood way back then, right? Same blood he shed now for us. So when Kairos coming to a place, Kairos not doing anything new. They just exemplifying what Jesus did. And there's no plagiarism in Christianity. You cannot steal another person's sermon if they got the sermon from Jesus. that right, preacher? Okay. You can't, we just passed it along. And so when Kairos came in with that kind of love, what happened to me was, let me say this to you, because I'm running out of time. In prison, love is not breeding. Another terminology, let me articulate, let me help you. Not breeding, give me something under the word. It's not fostered, it's not cultivated, it's not nurtured. That's the best one. Who said that? It would be you. I give you no credit, Mark. But anyway, it's not natural in jail. Everybody's hard. And looking at each other like I'm the toughest guy or the toughest girl. But when I seen that guy break down, it was all right for me. You say, now you're a pastor, you should have known it was all right. Let me tell you, I'm not perfect. And I needed help. God knew I needed help because I was leading men and they was trusting me. And when they got back, everybody was talking about, they wasn't talking about him crying. Guess what they was talking about? So they said the pastor broke down. He never stopped crying. I was dehydrated. If I didn't stop crying. I stopped crying about 3 days later, but I stopped. But it changed my life. Kairos changed my life. And in doing so, it built me up to help others' lives change. And I started telling guys, I started using scripture telling guys how easy it is for us as men, how easy it is for us as men to cover, mask, charade, facade, because we got to remain tough. And then in jail, even more so. But once you get that first good tear in, now, let me tell you something about this. We do some crying that night in that pillow. But by the time they call child the next morning, we straight. We ain't do no crime. Pillow ain't wet, flip it over. Pillow ain't wet, we all right. But inside, we torn. And you can't lead anyone from a torn state. Are y'all to love is greater now? You know why it's greater now? And there's nobody on this earth can ever against it, all because of God. Mercy just wrapped up again. I got to open up both doors when they go out because they're going side by side. I thank God for my wife. I thank God for Evelyn. She called us. We've been talking probably a couple of months. I let them two talk one time, and I heard all the laughter. I said, they'll never talk again. I told her, I said, I'm not letting y'all two get together without me in the room. Y'all laugh. That's because, but let me see what else I have on here before I let y'all go. I already said what my Louisiana people. I said again, what my Louisiana people at? Woo woo! Let me tell you this. I did 11 and a half months, I did 17 months, I did 3 years before I did the 25. There's a couple more stints. When I left from the 3 years, I remember that I had talked to God. I thought I had a relationship with him, but it was superficial. I went home at 223 pounds with an 18-inch neck. I was built for it. So I had to go back to my neighborhood malls to show them, because when I left, I was a crackhead. And I was small. So I had to go back and show them the muscles. 48 days later, I returned for that life sentence at 158 pounds. Yeah. 158 pounds. If they left me a little while longer, I'd have messed up the count. You wouldn't even saw me. That's what I was traveling as. God don't put us in jail. He'll take his hand away from situations and allow him to go that route. You know, we have to say, God put me in jail. No, he didn't. You put you in jail. You rode with no brake tag, no tail lights, or nothing else, and Satan was driving, and you thought you were driving. Satan dropped off, jumped out the car, and you went off the cliff. And then you blamed it on God. The book of Isaiah said, we rage at God. Man, I love y'all. Some of y'all hard to love, though. Thank God for grace and mercy. Thank God for forgiveness. I'm going to read this. I already said it says, number one thing about Kairos is love. The love just continued to flow out of every segment of the Kairos every day. The first night, that Thursday night when you go in, I'm speaking from when I was an inmate. I'm a chaplain now, and it's the same thing. I sit in on the Kairos, I sit in on prayer share, I sit in on the reunions. I schedule them in the prison, in Portland Prison in Mississippi. And I grab guys that's on drugs, and I say, you get sober for 1 week, and I'm gonna put you in Kairos. I said, I'm gonna come back and give you a UA. They don't let me give UAs because I think they think that me being a former inmate, that I'm gonna let them pass the test and not tell the truth, but that's not the truth. I want them to be sober just for long enough to hear, long enough to receive sober, because I know what Kairos is gonna do for them. I said, well, get them in there. I said, get them in there. I'm sitting there when I walk around, I put my hand on their shoulder. I think those vulnerable times, like when they're reading them letters, and I squeeze their shoulder. I let them know I'm there. Tell their shoulder. You know, amen. You don't want to do that to them. You don't want to do that. That ain't healthy, y'all. Don't do that. Come on, grab his shoulder, put some muscle to it. Then he look up and sees you, and get up and they hug you. That makes me feel good too. It ain't all for them now. Some of that's for me. Some of that's for me. And so we see them, we get them in there, and we watch them. We got their names already on the paper. And then we constantly, we disciple them after that. The discipleship is big. When they come out of there, guess what's waiting on them? The drugs, the gang rooms, security. How much time I got there? About 3 minutes? Okay, I got 2 minutes yet. 1 minute, somebody said. Out of every segment for 4 days, at that time I had no, I didn't have a way out of jail. And there were some dark nights and some even darker days. I thought I might die in Louisiana State Penitentiary, but that Kairos weekend. Now, mind you, I was saved and preaching. I don't know how many people I sent to hell get upset and you don't want to preach, and you don't want to teach, and you don't want to pray, and you don't want to fast, you don't want to go to church. But Kairos helped me. It grew me. It grew me. That's the word I'm looking for. It grew me. And it helped me to go forward. And some years later, lots of years later, they called my name. They say, Reginald Watts, pack your bags. You're free. This is my book. It's right over there on that table. It's $100 per book. Okay, it's $20 for a book. But if you want to leave 100 over there, hey, no problem. This is a true story. This is my story. From crack to the cross. It was much energy into getting out. I did some things. And so now, God didn't take Peter's enthusiasm about life, he just changed his direction. And how many of y'all know Peter? Yeah, Peter was like, well, God didn't take, what he did was he redirected him. He said, keep your enthusiasm, but now you have to be focused on me. So with the same courage and the same intensity and tenacity that I got high with, that I robbed people with, I now preach the gospel. I'm thankful, I bless y'all, I love y'all. Amen.